How many different soups can we get from this one chicken? That's what we're gonna do in this video. Hello family, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I am Vicki and you are with Grammy in the Kitchen. So we're gonna turn this one chicken into soups. Not just one soup, multiple soups. I don't know, we're gonna get 3, 4, or 5 different soups. Only time will tell. So last night, before I went to bed, I put the chicken in the crock pot. Show you what we did last night. We are going to be cooking our whole chicken, breast down. Add a little bit of salt. I do have just a tad bit of water, just so we're not frying the chicken in this crock pot. And a little bit of pepper. Put the lid on. We're going to do low for 8 hours. And now we're going to go to bed. It cooked for 8 hours. It went on warm. And then I turned it off when I woke up this morning. And it should be cool enough for us to handle. So let's go ahead and get this day started. Aprons on. I haven't said that in a while, have I? Let's go ahead and take this very well done chicken out of this crock pot insert. Oh, it's just falling apart. This is perfect. Okay. Oh, look at that family. Oh, beautiful. Oh, this is gonna be so easy to tear apart. It is falling off the bone. Just going through here, making sure I'm getting all the meat. I do want to save the juices that it created. So I have a quart-sized mason jar, a funnel, and a sieve. See how talented we are here. Oh, not very talented. Do you see that, family? I am making a mess. It's alright, every mess can be cleaned up. Let's clean up our mess we just made. And that is some pure gold chicken stock. So the chicken bones are going to go in here, and the meat is going to go in this one. So you know this is going to make some delicious chicken stock when we're ready to take all of our bits and pieces out of the freezer. I'm not going to save the skin. The skin has done its job. Rendered off some beautiful fat. Okay. Just going to break that chicken into pieces. Look at that, the breast meat just came completely off. The bones are going to go in the freezer. All right, so I want to know how many pounds of chicken we have, because that is going to determine how many soups we can make. All right, so we have 3 pounds and 1 5/8 of an ounce. So we're going to be able to get 3 soups. Go ahead and weigh out 1 pound. So this is the chicken we're going to use today. The other 2 will go into the freezer for us to make soup later this week. So the first soup we're going to make is chicken and dumplings. If you know me, you know my family, because I talk about them all the time. Chicken and dumplings is a family favorite. It's the husband's all-time favorite soups that I make. He enjoys all the soups I make in this kitchen, but that is his all-time favorite. This soup is going to come together really, really fast because the chicken is already cooked. We just need to cook the vegetables, get the dumplings in there, and then we have soup. So we're going to go ahead and make our dumplings now because they need to sit for a minimum of 30 minutes before we roll them out and cut them into dumplings. I have made many, many, many chicken and dumplings with you guys. And you know that we like more dumplings to chicken ratio in this house. So I am just going to dump a whole bunch of flour in here. I did not count, but I'll let you know how many cups this is. But it's a lot. We're going to add a good pinch of salt. I went ahead and cut up 2 sticks of butter into cubes. And like all dough, we're just going to mix this butter in with the flour. Now we're not making biscuits. We're not making pie crust. So we really want to pulverize this butter in here. Don't be intimidated. Get in your kitchen. Work with your hands. Make a healthy meal for your family. One of these days I'm going to invest in a pastry cutter. But in the meantime, we're just going to work with our hands. I do not feel any chunks of butter in here. So I think we are ready to move on and add our milk. This is our raw cow milk we get locally. Time to get in there with our hands. We just want to add just enough milk in here to get a nice dough ball. We don't want it too wet, and we definitely don't want it dry. Too dry, add milk. If it's too wet, add flour. Look at that family. That is one huge dough ball. I think we're good with the milk. I just want to knead it just a bit to get it into a cohesive ball. Make sure we pick up all the little bits and pieces that fall off this dough. Alright, I think we're good. And we want this to rest for a minimum of 30 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and chop up one of our ginormous onions that we got from Azure Standard. We're going to do 4 cloves of garlic. this is all of our onion peels and garlic peels. We're going to put that in our freezer bag with the chicken bones. So we have 1 cup of carrots, 1 cup of celery. These were frozen. We have 1 large onion diced. This is not for 1 soup. This is going to be enough for all 3 soups. 4 garlic cloves that is minced. We have our 1 pound of cooked chicken and our dumpling. I have the 3-gallon stock pot because we have a lot of dumplings. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of olive oil and get the vegetables sauteed. We're going to start with about 1 cup of onions. The onions have some color. Let's go ahead and add our onions and celery. We're just going to cook the celery and the carrots with the onions for a few minutes just to thaw and saute those just a bit. It's coming along very well. We're going to add about a tablespoon of this minced garlic. Some salt, some pepper, and about a teaspoon of thyme. We're going to go ahead and add 2 quarts of chicken stock and 2 quarts of water. Go ahead and add our 1 pound of cooked shredded chicken. We're just going to let the vegetable and the chicken with the chicken stock warm up. Everything is done. We just need to warm all the ingredients. Now we're going to go ahead and work on the dumplings. We have some flour on our bench. Divided the dough into 6 roughly even pieces. Just take out 1 chunk. We're going to keep it wrapped up while we're working on 1 piece at a time. You don't want your dumplings too thick, but you don't want them too thin either. So we're going to go to about 1/4 of an inch thick. I'll put a little bit of flour on my plate right here, just so the dough doesn't stick. That's where we're going to put our dumplings. So we're going to cut these about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch wide. That way when they swell up in that sauce, they'll still fit a spoon and we don't have to have a knife to eat soup. Then we're going to go the other way. Same thing, 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. Beautiful. Now we're just going to put this on our plate. And we're just going to repeat until we run out of dough. Do you hear Morty? And the dumplings. I added another quart of water. I want to add some of our chicken broth powder. I'm going to put in about 2 teaspoons. Just for another depth of flavor. I did taste the broth and I added some more salt and pepper. If you don't have the chicken broth powder, just add another quart of chicken stock. I do have chicken stock. I wanted the flavor that this broth powder adds because it's other herbs and spices in it also. Family, that is so good. We want to bring the broth to a boil before we add our dumplings. The dumplings are on the island, already cut up, ready for us to drop them in here. But we're waiting for that to come to a boil. Having already cooked chicken, it's going to make these soups go by super fast. I'm excited. I'm just going to throw this out there. One of my kids is watching this video. There are 2 things I would like to have for Christmas. Christmas is about, I think, 10 weeks away. I will insert a picture right here, a pastry cutter, and this rolling pin. Just curious to see if my kids are actually watching my videos. And I do appreciate each of you watching this. I'm wondering if the kids are watching it. I love you, kids. It is coming up to temperature. Has not started boiling yet. Oh, it's so beautiful. Do want to get one more taste before we add our dumplings. That is so good. The chicken broth is boiling. Let's add our dumplings. Now we do not want to add this as one big clump because we'll end up with one big dumpling. My son-in-law, Matt, picked this up for me. When he saw this, he goes, "Grammy doesn't have one of those." Thank you, Matt. Alright, so we're going to dump them in here ever so slightly so we don't end up with one huge dumpling. I'm trying to make sure we're separating them as we're dumping them in. Right now we're just going to let this cook until the dumplings are done and that broth is creamy. The dumplings are starting to float to the top, which means they're almost done. Just getting closer and closer, making a delicious bowl of soup. I'm excited. We are done. It's beautiful. I want you to see how creamy that broth is. We did not add any milk or cream. That is just the starch from the flour that was on our dumplings that turned our sauce into a beautiful cream. I'm a person who likes extra pepper in my dumplings. Who's ready? I know I am. This is going to be so hot. And there's plenty of chicken in here. Plenty of dumplings. And a lot of flavor. So soup 1, success. The next soup we're going to make, it's going to be even better. Stick around, it's going to be a great one. The chicken and dumplings were delicious. The husband was so happy. He'll have that until it's gone. But our next soup is going to be just as good. I went ahead and cut up our pepper jack cheese so it'll fit through the chute of the cheese grater for the KitchenAid so we can get this in the freezer. But today's soup is going to be a cheesy broccoli, chicken, and bacon soup. Tell me if that doesn't sound delicious to you. And we're going to serve this over rice. We're going to cook the rice in the Instant Pot. First, I'm going to go ahead and grate all this pepper jack cheese we got from Azure Standard last week. Now I'd like to share with you a restaurant hack. After you cut your cheese into manageable blocks that fit inside your chute for your KitchenAid, or even if you're hand grating it, once you cut them up into your cube-sized pieces, stick it in the freezer just for about 30 minutes to an hour, and it will reduce the clumpiness when it goes through your grater. Alright, so that is done. I do not have any more of my pint-sized Ziploc bags, so I'm have to put them in gallons of Ziploc bags, but I'm just going to put them in here portions. This is my favorite cheese to make macaroni and cheese with. It's so good. The rest of this we're going to use for our soup. And I'm going to put these in the freezer. So I have 1 cup of jasmine rice. I ran some cold water over it, swished it around until the water ran clear. Going in the Instant Pot. We're going to add salt and pepper. And I'm going to add 2 cups of chicken stock. Just eyeballing it. Now we're going to put this in the Instant Pot and then hit the rice button. And we'll let it natural release. So we have a 12-ounce pack of turkey bacon. Use regular bacon. Don't use bacon at all. It's whatever you want to do. I do want to do about half of this. So 5 slices. That's cut up in cubes. I have a pack of broccoli that was frozen. Had in the freezer for a while. I took that out. It's in a vacuum seal bag. We've got some of our garlic, onion, and our celery. Now if you're using regular pork bacon, you don't need to add oil. I'm using turkey bacon. It's a little lean, so I am adding a little bit of oil. We're going to heat this Dutch oven up before we add our bacon. Alright, so we just want to crisp up this bacon. Add some flavor to this pan. That's probably going to take about 15-20 minutes. I'm going to remove the bacon. We're going to add a little bit more olive oil. And we're going to add about a cup of diced onions. And this will be for the third soup. I'm going to cook that until they're translucent. We're going to let the moisture from the onions dissolve the burnt bits at the bottom of this pan where we cook the bacon. That is just a level of flavor. We're going to add 1 cup of celery. Go ahead and add some salt and pepper. And a tablespoon of minced garlic. The rice is done. I turned it off, and we're just going to wait till it naturally releases. Look how beautiful that is. That is pure flavor, family. Gorgeous. We're going to put back our cooked bacon. We're going to add the remainder of this 1 quart of chicken stock. And then a whole quart of chicken stock. Went ahead and cut the broccoli into spoon size so they fit on the spoon. I'm going to put in 1/3 of this because I want to be able to puree this while these stay whole. We're just going to let that cook. I want to cook this until the broccoli is very, very soft. So then when we go to puree it, it'll be a lot easier. That's probably going to take about 20-25 minutes. We're going to turn the burner off just to be safe while we take the stick blender and blend this. Beautiful. I'm going to turn the burner back on. We need to taste it to see if it needs any salt or pepper. That's perfect. We're going to add about 1 cup to 1.5 cups of milk. About 2 cups of cheese. This is a pepper jack cheese. We're going to put in our 1 pound of cooked chicken. And the remainder of our broccoli. We just want to heat everything through. Melt that cheese. Look at that, family. That looks so good and cheesy and ooey and gooey. Yummy. We're going to put the lid back on. And it's almost time to eat. The rice is done. I did add another pinch of salt and pepper to our soup, but it tastes delicious. Looks beautiful. We just want to cook this until the broccoli has softened and is done. So So we're gonna let this come up to a boil for about 20 minutes. In the meantime, I need to wash dishes. It's coming along, family. Who's ready for some soup? That smells so good. Look at all that chicken in there. The broccoli. Let's build our bowl. So here's our rice. We're going to put about a half a cup of rice in the bottom of our bowl. Now we're going to add some of this, I don't even know what to call it. Chicken, broccoli, bacon, cream of cheese soup. Come up with a name for me. Put some of that delicious broth and cheesiness in here. Wish you can smell this. Look at that, family. We'll try to get the perfect bite. Some rice, chicken, broth, broccoli, bacon. I think I got it. That is so good. It's so full of flavor. I believe this is going to be my favorite soup. So we still have a pound of cooked chicken in the refrigerator for another soup. I can't wait to see you the next time we get in the kitchen. I'm just going to enjoy my dinner. 1 cup of black beans. Some salt. And pepper. Got water. And the beans sitting. The beans are done. I have a colander in the sink. I'm going to strain the beans. Only because I don't want all that bean liquor. So that was 1 cup of dry beans. So what am I going to call it again? Creamy, cheesy chicken broccoli soup over rice. Long title, delicious soup. Was wonderful. Today we're going to make chicken fajita soup. I have my fajita seasoning. Now because I make my own season blend, doesn't have any anti-caking material in here, ingredient, whatever you want to call it. So it does clump up. So I'm just going to go in here. Break it up just a bit. Okay. Let's start building this soup. In the Dutch oven, we're going to start off with some olive oil. We're going to let the Dutch oven warm up, and then we'll add our onions. Now this is the quart of chicken stock we ended up with when we cooked our chicken in the crock pot. It does have a layer of fat. We're going to use some of this. We're going to take a good tablespoon, put it in our pan. We're going to use this chicken fat right here to fry the onions. And it's going to add so much flavor. The leftover onion. 1 cup of carrots, 1 cup of celery. I have about a half a cup of diced frozen green peppers and a little bit of colored sweet peppers. With that chicken fat, this thing smells so good already. We're just going to saute those. We're going to add some salt and some pepper. Most of these vegetables are frozen, so they're going to render off a lot of water. We're just going to cook it through in that chicken fat, a little bit of olive oil, and the water the vegetables produce. Most of the water has evaporated. Now they're actually frying in the oil. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic we have left over. I'm going to add 1 clove of diced garlic. Just cook this until we can start smelling the aroma of the garlic. We're going to add a can of diced tomatoes, a can of green chilies, we're going to add the chicken stock we got from cooking that chicken in the crock pot. It is congealed. It just means it's just full of vitamins and so many good nutrients. And it's highly concentrated, so we don't need a lot of chicken stock in here. Now we're going to go ahead and add our fajita season mix. We're going to start off with 3 tablespoons. We need to add salt, some pepper, oh, that is so good already. We're going to add about 6 ounces of frozen corn. And the black beans we cooked in the Instant Pot. That just looks so festive. Our last 1 pound of chicken we got from our whole chicken. Now I do want this more of a soup than a stew. So I'm going to add another quart of chicken stock. Oh yeah, that looks good right there. Alright, so everything in this soup is cooked. It's done. Well, we want to make sure we're warming it up so that everything is hot. But I'm going to move this over here. I have some corn tortillas that I had in the freezer. That I'm just going to cut up into strips. This is the remainder of the chicken fat on top of that chicken stock. Just going to put it in this small cast iron and melt this. And this is what we're going to fry our tortilla strips in. Let's do a test. Not quite hot enough yet. The reason it's popping is because there's a little bit of the chicken broth in here, so it's water based, and that is what's popping. So we're going to put a handful of our strips in here. This is the first time I've ever fried corn tortillas. I've done flour tortillas, but never corn tortillas. Might have been a bust, but we'll see. Yeah, they want to break apart. We're going to use them anyway. No waste. We're going to add a little salt to them and repeat. I went outside and I picked some fresh cilantro, totally optional. Soup is ready, the tortillas are ready. I went ahead and took a bag of pepper jack cheese out of the freezer so we can have a cheesy deliciousness here. I tasted the soup and it is yum-o. I'm just picking the leaves off of the stems. You ready? Can you see that? It is gorgeous. I want some of this broth. Oh, vegetables are cooked perfect. Our fried tortillas. We're going to put a couple of those on top with a little bit of cilantro. Oh, you know what? Forgot the cheese. That doesn't warm your heart and soul. So I did add a little bit of coconut oil to the frying pan to finish cooking the tortillas. And I think the coconut oil did better. Let's see if we can find the perfect bite. That was really good. It's the right amount of spiciness with those green chilies. Perfect amount of vegetables. And the chicken is on point. That's a keeper. Recipe did take a little bit longer to cook. I did not have any black beans already cooked. My goal come this fall and winter is to can some beans. I have Catalina beans, kidney beans, black beans. I think I have some Great Northern beans. I have a 13 bean mix. I want to get some of those in jars. So when I need to make a tortilla soup or a white chili soup or something like that, I will have beans already cooked. Even though cooking the beans in the Instant Pot didn't take that long, I let it come up to pressure, cook for 26 minutes, and let it natural release. I didn't manual release, I let it natural release. So during that time, I was able to do other things, which is fine. But if I need a soup like now, like right now, such as this soup, because the chicken was cooked, all we had to do was saute the onions, carrots, the celery, the garlic, the peppers. If I would have had canned beans, it would have been so much faster. This is a keeper. Such a keeper. So our 3 soups with 1 chicken was a success. We got 3 delicious soups. And we now have recipes for the next time we want to make a soup other than the normal chicken noodles or chicken and dumplings. We can make a quick soup. But I want to talk to you a little bit about why and how I cook the way I do. So how do I pick my meals? My meals determine of what's in my pantry and my freezer. We buy protein when it's on sale and stock the freezer. We get most of our canned goods from Azure Standard at a reduced price because it's either on sale there or you could get a bulk price and it's cheaper. And then my meals are determined of what's in my freezer and what's in my pantry. We always have pasta. We always have tomato products. We have the things that when I think of a meal, I don't think of a meal that I want to make. I think of a meal that I can make with what's in my freezer and on my pantry shelves. Such as this soup. We had the chicken already cooked. We had corn in the freezer. We have celery and carrots in the freezer. We made black beans because we have black beans. So I was able to make this soup from the ingredients I had in the house. Another question I hear a lot is, why do I save my chicken bones and my vegetable scraps? I can make chicken bone broth from scraps. And that to me is free food. I can cook the bones with some water and some other aromatics, salt and pepper, bay leaves, all the good things. Have it in the roaster, let it roast for hours on hours on hours on hours. Whether it's overnight or a whole day or however long it takes to get all the good nutrients from those chicken bones. Then I can turn that broth, put them in cans or jars, pressure can it, and I have free food on my shelves. If you're not saving your bones, if you're not saving your vegetable scraps to make free food, such as stock, whether it's beef, pork, chicken, doesn't matter. If you're not saving those bones, you're throwing away money. You're throwing away free food. Start saving it. If you are intimidated about pressure canning, because broth has to be pressure canned, it cannot be water bath. If you're intimidated, you can put those in quart-sized jars or a freezer bag, and I would suggest doubling the freezer bags because I've had one or two bust on me. Stick them in your freezer. It does take longer, more thought, more process to thaw that out in order to use it for soups or gravy or any kind of base you need for your cooking. Does take some forethought. You can have free food in your house if you start saving your bones, start saving your vegetable scraps, and eat some delicious soup. I just want to say thank you for hanging out with me while we made 3 delicious, healthy, from scratch soups from one chicken. If you find any value in this video, please give it a thumbs up. And while you're at it, please subscribe. I would love to have you part of the Grammy family. Down below is going to be a link to Azure Standard. Please check out their prices. If you're looking for a good quality, non-GMO or organic food, please check them out. We put videos out 3 times a week. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I have a Facebook group. I'm going to have that written right here on how to find our Facebook group. Come join over there and get involved in some conversation about cooking real meals using real ingredients for healthy, nutrient-dense meals that you can feed your family. I just want to say thank you again. Right over here, you're going to see 2 videos. Hope they give you inspiration or give you a chuckle. Whichever one, it's fine with me. And until next time, y'all have a blessed day. Bye, family. This is the season for soups.